Okay.
Hello, everybody. I'm Helen, and I teach at the Dorothy Benson Senior Center. And today we are going to make stamps. And this 4-week class, we're going to make stamps and texture slabs, whatever, texture somethings. Yeah, because they're not texture mats. Yeah, you can buy stamps and you can buy texture mats, but I think making your own is a lot more fun because these little tiny little bamboo thingies, I think they were like almost $5 or even $7. Okay?
Wow.
Yeah. And then the thing is, everybody else is going to have the same design.
Yep.
So, I don't know how long this one's going to last. It's bamboo, but it should last long. This guy's not that deep. So let me just stamp a few and show you. They're pretty shallow. Yeah, this guy's real shallow. So I don't know if I really like this. Okay, so here we go. So these guys are pretty shallow. Okay, you see that?
Right.
It shows it good
Right.
on-
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm going to show you the ones I made. And let's see, it does take trial and error, okay? Like this was a ginkgo leaf. Maybe my lighting's not that good. Let me turn this, see if that'll help. Okay, this is a ginkgo leaf, and I probably didn't carve it deep enough, okay? But let's go ahead and try stamping that. Okay, it does show up. Let me do a better stamp here. Okay. So I'm not very satisfied with this one, okay? And I'll show you what it looks like on the actual piece I did. Okay. So this is on, I don't know what kind of clay this is, but you see, it's kind of like real subtle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because I have to press so hard in it, you get the lumps on the inside. This is a thrown cup. All right. Now, my favorite is the leaves. All right. It took a while before I got the hang of it, but the leaf one, and I made several in different sizes, work out the best. So I did carve deeply. Yeah. And yeah, they're pretty thin. So that works pretty good, I think. Okay. And I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, on this, okay, it's pretty good on this, I think. Okay, I think this is Phoenix clay, but I really like it. It depends on the clay also. It shows up really good on this.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah, because this is a darker clay,
Yeah.
and so the glaze breaks. So some of those
Yeah, and
glazes,
it broke into a good color.
yeah, you know how some of those glazes like Tamoka break into 2 different colors?
Yeah.
So once again, here it is, okay? And you know what I did? When I dipped it, I probably rubbed a lot. I try to rub off some of it. Not wipe off, but with my finger when the glaze is dry. So that's
why?
Because I didn't want it that thick on the leaf and the texture part.
Okay.
So that's one of the things you can do when you glaze your own pieces. Then let's see, I think the leaves here, same thing. And I did press too really hard. Okay. Now, when I pressed the, thing, it didn't show up on it. I didn't get the lumps here. That's because I kept it in the form. Where is my form? Oh, here it is. If you keep it in the form and press, it's not gonna, this supports it. So that works really good. Okay. Versus something like this where I don't really have anything to support. I could have put my hand in, but I think I may not have put my hand in there, it could have been too soft. Okay, so these are kind of fun. Now I do have some that didn't come out. I think this is like a scallop shell.
Yep.
You can press into stuff, but I think I may have touched it up and carved it deeper. So, And because the scallop shell is kind of curved, you really have to press hard, and you're gonna get those funny texture. Okay, so obviously, okay, this one, I didn't clean it up. So you can see the little ridges, the scallop
Yep.
shell has.
Yep.
This one I cleaned it up, so, but you know, the outside of the stamp is nothing exciting. It's just a circle. Okay, this one, I think I kept the shape. I think I carved the shape out. Yeah. So do you see how I carved it out
Yeah.
versus,
Versus stopping at the edge.
yeah, just, you know, yeah. So there's a big difference. And so this is much better than this guy.
But is that free form that you did?
No, I stamped it a actual shell, scallop.
Okay, that's what I wanted to make
But on
sure.
this one, I cleaned it up. I carved deeply and I
Yeah.
chopped the edge and carved away. Okay. This one is, I think, too shallow, but notice I have to carve away out, you know, outside the petals. So, but it still picked up. I don't know if this will stay after I glazed it. Do you see the little stamens?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know how much of that will stay. So if I glaze this, I might rub off. Or if I was painting commercial glaze, I might be real careful and not put like 3 coats there. I may just put 1 coat just in the middle.
Do you use pencil and draw it out?
I'll show you how I do that. Let me just show you some more samples. Okay. So this one's a little bit shallow, okay? But what you can do, let me see if I can find a clean spot. Okay, so you can do this.
Oh,
It 4 times. So I really need to make another one. You know, you can do a clover, you know, instead of just 1 whole clover, you can do a hearts. So that's kind of cool too, but I guess it's okay. I haven't really tested these with glazes, I guess. This one is just way too shallow. I don't know if you can see it. And I have used it and it's just too subtle. Okay.
yeah, it
See,
is.
I need to carve more deeply. It does take trial and error, unfortunately, but so I've done this. Now I have one here that's super deep. Okay, I carved it super
Yeah.
deep.
Yeah.
So it does pick up the thing. And then I did carve outside, all right? So now I have a bunch of these leaf. Oh, wait, I'm gonna show you what this one, I don't know what this one looks like. I haven't, this one's like really deep. Okay. Oh, that one's pretty good.
Oh,
That one's
yeah.
really good. So I may use this as reference and go, okay, I need to go deep like that. All right. And then, you know, you saw these, right? Where I
Yep.
into the
Yep.
foam. But you know what? On the foam ones, this part, because it's so flat, I needed to kind of like curve it so that it would make an imprint in the center, just slightly, I think. Okay. This one works because it's not, it doesn't have a huge surface, but see how much more of a surface this has, right? So it didn't pick up some of the texture here. So
But what did you do with the foam?
you know, the foam method where I put the clay on the foam and I push in and it makes an instant dish. You know what I'm talking about?
I think.
Okay.
I think. And it makes an instant dish. Got me. Yeah, the only foam I know is like the butter dish.
Oh, with the big butter dish I made.
Yeah, like the thing that you showed me that you were doing with foam.
So let me get this out of the way.
Does it make it easier
What?
to use the piece of foam?
You still have to practice and get the hang of it. Make a bunch of butter dishes before you're successful with one. Yeah. But once you get the hang of it, it might be easy, you know, and faster, because you can make a decorative edge and then just push in and get it done. Okay, so I've got that slab of clay. And I know this one works better, so I'll use this one, okay?
Yep.
And then I'm kind of don't have this on a flat surface, so we'll see what happens. So all you do is push and see how it resists. And then you get a little,
Oh,
yeah.
oh,
But like I said, there's a massive amount, the area is big, so the center doesn't pick up the texture too much. So I need to make it slightly curved, bulge out a little bit. Okay, so what I recommend you do is use your scrap clay and make several of these things, okay? Now you can make it this kind of shape, right? And then, you want to put a hole so that you can hang these if you have space. I don't have space here, but if I did, have space, and I would just hang this so I can see them instantly. Or you can make it, if you had a big piece and it's just one stamp, you still want to make a hole here. I've got a hole here, okay? And this one, I don't have a hole. Okay, but it's very thick, all right? So I do have a place to grab. I found out that I didn't put a handle on this one. This one was like really hard to remove, yeah. And I really needed to put a knob or something on these guys. There's no holes or anything. So these guys, they were test pieces, so I have to remake these guys. Make it slightly bold. Let's see. I think that's it for now. Okay, so what you need to do is make a shape probably like this, or like this would be the easiest right now. And then I made this last night because I needed them to dry a little bit, okay? So I made it last night, and then this morning they're pretty hard, but I'm sure on the inside they're still damp and wet. And I kind of made the design here and where I'm going to carve it. This one probably too flat for this size, now that I think about it. Okay, so what's going to happen is I am going to remove this mess, okay? And I'm going to remove all of it. All right, so I'm going to start with that first, because if I carve these delicate lines and then I try to remove, I might knock off one of these pieces, So I will try to remove this first. And it's gonna probably require a very sharp knife or something. And I try to work on a tray, because that way all your shavings will go somewhere, but this guy's rocking a lot, so I'm gonna stabilize him. You probably can't see, the lighting's not that good here. Let's see if that will help. Oh. A little bit better. So I am going to take away all that excess. And this is another leaf shape, but bigger. So while I'm doing this, you might want to go ahead and make these shapes, because your pieces need to dry first. Okay. And you might be able to work on it tonight or definitely tomorrow. You kind of decide on what kind of, designs you want. So you want to go slow and a little bit at a time, because otherwise you might remove a whole chunk of clay. And these will be bisque fired. You're not going to glaze fire these. And the reason why we want the bisque fire is because they're going to be porous still and absorbent. And that helps with, like, you can do multiple stampings without it soaking up so much water or, getting wet. Okay, I need to remove I need to make this part as vertical as possible. Okay. And I'm also kind of guessing how deep I need to make it, because if I press the clay in, if I make it this deep, it's going to hit this bulge right here. So I'm going to try to remove as much as possible. I may even get rid of that because I don't need it. And once again, all these shavings, you can reconstitute them and reuse them and make more stamps. And you do want to make a bunch of stamps because you don't, and especially in the beginning, you don't know which ones are going to work and which ones aren't. So it's kind of normal to have like 50 stamps.
I don't think so.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be doing stamps till forever.
Well, you don't do it all in one setting, okay?
Good. Like my butter dish.
And then these are like, these are the actual carving's not quick, but sending it to get it fired and back is quick. So it's kind of satisfying, and they're small pieces, so most likely you're going to get in the kiln, in the bisque fine. Okay, so I'm going to remove as much as possible and keep it as vertical as possible. This will be the shape of the actual stamp. Okay. And it doesn't have to be perfect right now. You can always clean it up later. Okay, that's pretty vertical. All right, now I'm going to switch over and carve out the lines. And the carving tool I like to use for that is somewhere. Place. Okay, so I like this one, XIEM, that's the company. It came in a pack of 3. I think these are it. I'm not sure. I have to get these on Amazon because Dabbins didn't carry this, but it's pretty strong. And let's see. So I have to, the pencil lines are too thin. The actual lines are probably more like Sharpie thickness. Let's see if I can do this with a Sharpie, okay? So the actual lines that you want to leave are probably more, probably double the Sharpie thickness. The Sharpie's not gonna last long if I keep doing this. So, but it might make it easier. Also, if you want, you can probably paint with some kind of ink, and then that way you can see where you're carving. Okay, so the black lines are going to stay. And I'm losing the Sharpie now. Now, you don't want to have such delicate areas that you're going to accidentally break that part and carve it off, okay? Okay, so my Sharpie has gotten too coated with clay. All right, so black lines are going to stay, right? I think I got to wrap my brain around it. No, the black lines are going to go. Yeah, the black lines are going to be the ones that are carved out, because those are going to be the ones that are going to stick up. So I'm going to look at my sample here. I carved out the black lines, so those are going to be the veins that are going to stick out. All right. Yeah, hard to wrap my head around that. So you want to carve slowly. You don't want to take big chunks out. And I feel like it needs to be at least, let's see. Oh, I don't know if this will affect later. Probably not. Okay, it's not really 1/4. I don't know how many. It's probably more like 3 or 4 millimeter deepness. So you don't do this in one. You just don't dig deep all at once. Okay. Work on. Okay, so I'm going to carve that. Okay, I'm carving away the black lines. yeah, probably good to like make the lines so you don't get confused where you're going to be carving. Okay, don't carve too deep at once because you might rip out a big chunk of clay that you don't want to. Okay, so right here, oops, right here is very delicate. I got this teeny tiny little triangle of a piece, so I have to be real careful and carve out shallow at first, and then just, you know, do a little bit at a time. Okay, then carve out that one. Sometimes it doesn't look like I follow the lines. Okay, so that's my basic, what's going to happen. And I think the black lines are making it difficult to tell, okay? What I need to do is, because this is so flat, I think on this one, it's not as flat. And I think, yeah, when I made these, I kind of flattened it, and I should have kind of like made it on this is okay because this is small, but on the big one, I should have just kind of made it a little bit more curved, slightly convex. Yeah. Like a contact lens. Okay, now I'm going to go over the same lines, and I have to be real careful. And what I'm going to do is right here on the edge, I'm going to bring it all the way out, but very carefully, okay? Just because I know that the clay is going to be that deep when I press it in. So this is something you just don't do it very quickly. It just takes a while. Pretend you're carving ivory. How's that? All right. It's just something that's delicate, and it's going to take a while. So let's see. You got to constantly clean it. Now, once I get it to a certain depth, a lot of times I will take this tool, the hook, the real, the
Yeah,
and hook one, and I will go over it so that I don't know why I do this, but I do it. So it really makes a V cut, but maybe it helps me get deeper without making the walls so tall. You know, it's like when you dig a hole, you can't make it a certain deep depth because the sides will cave in. So the bottom is basically not as wide as the top when it's this V-shaped tool. Okay. What I'm going to do is carve one side and then stamp it so you can see what it looks like so far. And if your piece is dry enough and stiff enough, you can carefully do some test stamping to see if it's deep enough and if there are places that you need to fix. Just like in printmaking, you know, you carve and then you make test prints. Okay, so I'm going to do a test. You can take a brush and carefully clean out any burrs if you want. And then, let me see if I can get a piece of clay to do a test. So this is kind of a fun project to do. And you can actually watch something while you do this. I mean, you know,
maybe.
don't watch something with captions because that'll get you in trouble, but maybe a show that you've already seen. Okay, so I'm going to test this and see what it looks like, but I have to be real careful, okay? I'm just going to gently press it. Okay, so this is what it looks like so far, right?
Right.
So I've got a lot of work to do. I've got to make, these are the places where where I carved out. I think I need to make them deeper. And they don't have to be even, like this part can be deeper than this part, you know? So let's see, I'm gonna work on that a little bit more. I'll go back to this guy. Maybe I had to be careful because I might knock off something here. Is that-
So if I use a pencil, it goes away when it's fired, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, it just burns out. And if it's still there, the mark's still there, it doesn't matter because it's just a stamp, right?
right.
I mean, the marks aren't going to be there, but
When I used the marker that you're using on the bottom so that
Yeah.
I could let Kimberly know all the stuff, it
Uh-huh.
stayed on.
the
I
Sharpie
mean, I
stayed
don't
on?
care, but
The
it stayed on. It was permanent marker and it didn't go anywhere.
The Sharpie?
Yep.
I'm not surprised. It could be because it has like maybe like carbon content, you know, whatever the underglaze is made out of. And that's why it stays.
True. Yeah.
kinda
I don't
cool.
know. I just know that there they were, those same little numbers.
Interesting.
Now, you can draw all these things and do them by yourself. Okay,
Oh.
we've got that.
All right.
But
What you can
But I
do is-
can't.
Okay, go either online for clip art or find something you can trace, okay? And trace it onto plastic, like not saran wrap, but not saran wrap, but some kind of thin plastic, and then lay it on the clay and go over it with a blunt pencil or a ballpoint pen. And that should make enough of an imprint on your clay so you can carve out.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just making mine deeper. And I'm also going to try to get rid of the sharp corners, which I can do with like a squeeze out sponge, but right now I don't want to re-wet this, so I'm just going to try to get rid of some of my sharp corners. Or sharp edges, yeah. Okay, let's see what this looks like now. So you will probably be constantly testing your stamp, but be careful you don't break it while you're doing that. Okay, that's a lot more. That's a lot better, yeah. So this is the side that I'm working on. I made it more defined. I can probably go deeper. Yeah, I don't quite like that sharp edge, so I'll round that off. Okay, yeah. Okay, so that one I need to continue to work on. And what I'm going to do is I'll keep carving it, but I have to keep an eye on it as it dries because you don't want it to dry out and be hard to carve. The porcelain probably gonna be easier to carve because the grains are probably more fine.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm
but
on
you-
B mix right now because the porcelain was too dry.
Yeah.
But-
Maybe it should be okay too, because it doesn't have grog in it. It's the clay with the grog that's gonna, you're gonna run into trouble.
Is that Phoenix?
This is porcelain.
No, I mean, is,
Oh, the grog one? No, it's any kind of clay. It'll just say B mix with grog.
okay, and we don't want that.
Yeah, what grog is just ground up fired clay. And so
Okay.
it kind of acts like, you know, the tiny aggregate pebbles in concrete
Yep.
when you make pour concrete. Yeah, it acts like that. Okay, I don't like this flat surface. Well, I guess I need that flat surface. I don't have a choice. Okay, and then I'm just gonna kind of around that. So I can fine tune this later. All right. Now, you might want to do a double-sided one because then you have, you got one stamp, but you got two surfaces to work on. This guy is going to be super delicate, okay? And I'm the reason why I made this, it's supposed to be equilateral triangle is because then I can do a design where it's like this. I can cover entire surface with this design, which is kind of stupid because then I should have just made a texture mat. Well, I guess I can play around with it, but this one's gonna require some thinking here. But on the back side, I kind of made it like leaves, so I'll try that first because the other side is going to require. You kind of have to think in reverse, and that's my problem. I'm kind of dyslexic, so I have to really concentrate before I can do that. So I'm actually going to carve this one super deep because this clay is so thick, and I can get away with it. Okay, so I have to be careful at this part because it's a little tiny triangular piece right here. Just carve a little bit at a time.
How come it has so many burrs when you carve?
It just does.
Jeez. Huh?
It's because you carved away the clay, so you have carved out clay that needs to go somewhere. It's like if you were working on a lathe, carving wood, you would have all that wood shavings.
Sawdust stuff.
You're taking away stuff and it has to go somewhere. If your clay is super wet, you're just going to have more of it. But you're going to have it no matter what. It's just irritating when it's super wet because it's hard to clean it, keep it clean. So that's why you kind of want it to dry a little bit. Okay, so where's my brush? Yeah, so just have a nice soft, maybe a bristle brush. Now, if you have a pet at home, sometimes the fur gets in and might mess up your design.
Unless you have an animal that doesn't shed.
That's nice, yeah.
I do.
I've got
Not one, nothing, not one shedding anything.
That is so nice. Cats don't come like that unless they're those naked cats, which are ugly.
Those are scary.
Yeah, I don't like those. Nothing cute about them.
That's right.
Poor things. Okay, so I'm going to do a test stamp with this, see what it looks like. And hopefully I don't break this. Oh, stuck. Okay, so the reason why I did this is because so I can flip this around. Yeah, oh. Okay. Okay, I can't do it too many times because I'm losing my dryness. Okay, so this is what I was going after. One triangle stamp if I'm careful. See what it does?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, I'd say.
It's very cool.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to do stamps, to be honest.
Well, they have to work first, though.
Yeah, it does take time. And then I'll go ahead and try carving this one so I can show you what this kind is like. I do have, this is a diamond tool. It's about, I think it's about $30. But it seems to have little tiny diamond particles attached to it, like an emery board. So, but it just does cut very sharply. So in this case, I'm going to use that to cut away. So you'll be making a lot of these stamps, I think. Now, see. I don't like this diamond tool because it is sharp.
Once I realize I can do it, that's one thing.
And like I said, you have to start somewhere, right?
Right. With a butter dish,
You'll be the butter dish pro. Okay.
I'm telling you. You know, the one that I love though is the one we made in Benson, and it's round, the white
Yeah.
with like all colors on
Did
it.
we have a mold for that? Did we use a mold? I don't remember.
I think we used the bottom or the one of them. I didn't have it for both. We used the top, maybe a mold for the top, or
Did you-
maybe not, because it's small. You couldn't put a full stick of butter. You can only put those little fat ones.
Yeah.
That's the only kind that'll fit in there.
Maybe
But I
you
love that.
find go to the dollar store and get that little teeny tiny plastic bowl.
Oh, one of those.
Yeah, something, a little bit bigger than what you would use, and then because
Yeah.
the play's going to shrink. Okay, so I carved away the outside, and then now I need to carve out the little hole. And what tool can I use? This one might be too big, but let's see if it'll do it. Okay. And I'm gonna make it pretty deep. Okay. Then I'm gonna carve those little lines. Now, this is just my first pass, so I'm gonna have to refine this a lot because I didn't even carve the outside nicely. Okay, and I know that's not gonna be deep enough right there, see?
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's see what it looks like. Okay, so right now it's like that. I don't think it's deep enough. Let me turn off this light, see if that will help. Okay, you can sort of see it, right?
Yep. No, I can see it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I definitely have to carve that out deeper. Now, at home, I would recommend getting a tray because all the shavings are probably gonna fly everywhere.
Yeah.
And,
I use a cookie sheet
oh, that's a good idea.
because
Yeah.
it'll make I can put a bigger piece in it. That's
Yeah.
all.
Sometimes if I'm doing heavy duty carving, I'll just use actually I have a basin that's bigger than this. Okay, but I'll use something like this. I was suggesting maybe for butter dish, maybe something like this.
Yeah, maybe I'm not supposed to make one of those long ones. Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe you like the round ones better.
Well, the round one was the success on the first go, whereas look what's happened to the other 4 or 5 or
Well, we're
however
all
many.
doing it. Did we do a long one at Benson?
No, only since I've been in
Yeah.
class. But we've been doing this for what, 2 years almost, the Chastain class.
We have.
So
Time goes by so quickly.
I'm telling you,
I
I
tell you
see
what, you just have to be in person right now.
it's hard,
It's hard online.
but it's
Okay.
better than nothing.
It is. It keeps you working. You know what I mean? And
I'm not good at just motivating myself, but when I do a class, then I'm motivated.
but you're getting experience too. A lot of it's experience and, see what goes wrong kind of thing.
Yeah, but sometimes I think, look how long I've been doing this and I don't get any better.
Well, you might be, and you just don't realize it.
Ha, a wish.
Oh, I dug a little bit deeper. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, it's a little bit better. Yeah, more defined. Okay, so I did take the V.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I did take the hook to go in deeper. Okay, so I need to clean up the outside too. So I'll do that a little bit more. And when you're when you're fine tuning, you have to be real careful. You can't just, you really have to be delicate here. Do a little bit at a time. And plus your clay is drying as you're working on it anyway. Okay, so let's see. And these are really fun to make. I just need to come up with better designs. You can look online to see what other people have done. They do sell these, but I mean stamps, but like I said, I think it's better to have your own personal stamps because whatever you make is going to look like everybody else's piece. Yeah. People post their work online, it just looks like everybody else's because they're using the same stamps. Okay, I kind of like that. Okay, I can live with that one. All right. Now I just have to clean up the outside a little bit. And I'll do a little bit at a time. And what I'm going to do is probably bevel it a little bit.
I can't make it deep enough or something.
Because it's probably too wet. You just started working on it, right?
Right.
So you're going to have to let it set up a little bit. I'm actually going to take a sponge and I'm going to have to carve again because I've taken a sponge, but I'm trying to soften the outside.
See, you did that stamp just yourself. You know what I mean?
It was not perfect. No.
You just drew it.
Oh, I'm sure you can do it too. Okay. So this one
It's
I
so
have to
even.
think about. Yeah. Okay, so this one's a lot more delicate. It's gonna, I have to be super, super careful. Once again, I had to carve out the outside. Yeah. So I will take my, I'm gonna have to be real careful. And the clay seems to be a little bit wetter. But what I would recommend is just make a bunch of these blanks.
Yeah.
And then when you feel like it, you can pick one up. And even if it's bone dry, it's a little bit delicate, but maybe you can like wet it, not wet it soaking wet, but wipe it with a squeezed out sponge.
Yep.
Kind of soften the surface a little bit. But it's just one of those mindless fun things to do. You just have to test it when you're done and then clean it up. And these guys, you don't have to like wrap it up and dry it. Just
Oh, really?
just leave it exposed because there's such a small amount of clay. Usually they're not going to break or anything because you haven't really attached anything. And they're just a lump. So they should be all right unless you have like such a real thin area and a real thick area, but it should be okay. Okay, so I carved out the outside. And this one, I think I have to leave a line on the outside. So I'm going to do the reverse now. Okay, I had to think on this one. All right, I think I have to, wait, this is going to be minus. All right, I'll just start carving. I'm going to go very shallow on this one because it's a little bit more of a delicate design. So I'm going to work a little bit at a time. Do you know what kind of designs you're going to make on your stamps?
Heck no.
Well, you can do.
I just keep looking at yours and thinking, how does it come out so clean? Do you know what I mean? Clean?
It's drier.
I don't
Remember, I
know.
made these last night. And they sat totally exposed. Okay, so I made the first pat. This is delicate, so I'm going to use the hook tool. When your clay is the right consistency, it's lots of fun to carve.
Yeah, I feel like I can't get a straight line.
You just let it dry out. Okay, I think I messed up here. Oops. Took off a big chunk. Now, another thing you can do is, there's like old-fashioned line drawings. The
Yeah.
thing is the pointy hand, and that's kind of done with pen and ink, right?
Yep.
So you could transfer that design and then carve that, carve all those dots and dashes and get that image too.
Yeah, I do like the abstract stuff. There's no doubt.
Yeah, I'm just going to do a test piece because I don't know what's going on.
You know what? I kept thinking about you when I was doing the underglazes on this stuff right now, because you know how you said, I don't like it. It takes too long. I'd much rather do a dip. And I thought, this is really taking me a long time. No wonder.
Yeah.
Helen always says it's easier with dipping.
You mean the glazing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the painting with underglaze takes a long time because you got to put 3 coats on.
I put 4 on most of mine. I don't know why, but most of them I did.
Yeah.
Just to be sure.
Yeah, that's okay.
But it took forever. It took forever.
Okay, so on this one, I'm going to have to go real slow and delicately, and I'm going to have to continue to test it as I go along. Okay, so you got the hang of this, right? You can make a bunch of stamps, and next week we'll see what you've done. And if you can join us, we'll see what you've done. And we'll start on, we might actually do, I'll show you how to stamp certain things so you'll have more success. And we might proceed onto the texture plates, which is lots of fun for me. Okay, so I will.
See, look how yours does.
Huh?
Yours is deep and you're going to push it on your clay and it's going to be voila.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me pin you so I can see what you're doing.
Well, now I've just crunched them all up so I could.
I've already crunched that. But yours is wet. Remember I told you not to.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, you can't. So just make a bunch of these guys, blanks.
Okay.
And you can just keep them in a little box or something. And then when you're ready, you can carve them.
You can carve them when they're like greenware or bone.
No, dry.
Or anything.
Bone dry.
Oh.
You can carve them when they're bone dry. It's just a little bit hard. So what I would do is I would take out the bone dried one.
Yeah.
I would take a squeezed out sponge and just clean it up. And then enough moisture should have gotten absorbed on the surface that you can start carving.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, goodbye. See you in an hour.
All right. See you. Have fun with it. All right.